Dana White's Contender Series 2024, week number 2. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this stacked Contender Series card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I'll be live from the road during this Contender Series card. Full card fight companion Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to tune into it. And let's get into this breakdown. First fight on the card, we have Billy Brand versus Cody Haddon. Now, before I drop the pick, both of these guys have UFC fighters on their resume. Neither of them beat a UFC fighter, but they've taken on some savages. For Haddon, he took on Steve Erceg. For Brand, he fought Peyton Talbot. And actually, that fight against Peyton Talbot for Brand was a relatively good performance. Now, to the pick, I'm going to go with Haddon to win. He's got a really good amateur boxing background. As good as Brand's striking looked in moments against a Peyton Talbot, and, you know, he has some decent stand-up, I just feel like Haddon's a bit more like fast twitch. He has a bit quicker hands, a little bit more precision with the striking. It simply just seems to be slightly more effective, and then bringing in a speed advantage. I like that. And then on the opposite side with Brand, I think he's got a good southpaw stance. He's got nice low kicks and definitely has okay wrestling to go alongside everything. I'm just not so sure that he can take out Cody Haddon. I think Haddon's a bit more athletic, a bit more explosive. He's got 30 amateur boxing fights. He was 23-7, which I think is a reason why his hands look as crisp as they do. Ultimately, I see this as a really close back and forth fight, and I think Haddon takes it on the scorecards in a competitive one. I think he beats Billy Brand, but not like domination. I think Brand will have some moments, but ultimately Haddon does a little bit more and enough to pull off the win. Now, if you look at Haddon's last fight, he took on Paul Loga. Listen, he is the ultimate Australian journeyman, okay? He's the gatekeeper. He's fought a lot of guys that eventually made it to the UFC from Australia, so he's a must surpass to get into the octagon. Now, for Billy Brand, coming off a win over James Goudry. Now, he wasn't really supposed to win that fight. Tapology was like significantly picking against him, so there was a good performance for him to go out and get that W. It's just, I think Haddon might be a little too fine-tuned, a little too clean with it. In a close one, I'll favor going distance and Haddon getting the win. Now, as far as the scales, Haddon looks to be in the best shape of his career, coming in absolutely shredded. And Brand coming in looking relatively good too. Obviously, a different angle of picks. Then the face-off, you can see Haddon a bit taller. Both guys are in great shape. Both guys are going to bring the fight. I think we have a fight that goes distance in a competitive scrap. You're going to notice Haddon has slight boxing advantage and potentially land some key takedowns. And I think he gets a gritty win over a pretty game opponent in Billy Brand, who I think has a UFC potential in the future, but maybe not just about yet. I'm going to go with Haddon to pull through. I'm repping with the Aussies too. Minus 155 for Haddon to pull through. Billy Brand at plus 125. I'll go with the over 1.5 happening, more confident than the rest at minus 225. I feel like it's pretty live to go over a round and a half. Haddon's gone over a round and a half in the past. This one here, and then that was a can fight against Raja Shipman. Quick win there. And then look, when he fought Jarrett Wilbraham, he ended up going into the third round. I went back and watched that fight. Good moments for him there. That obviously decision with Erceg. I think we're going over a round and a half, and I think Haddon's getting it on the judges' scorecards in a relatively close one. Decent battle of prospects right here. I don't know. Are either one of them really ready for the UFC level, though? If it's a close decision, I wonder if the winner gets a contract. I'll lean yes because they're both in their 20s. And especially for Haddon. I do think that the eye for the UFC is a little more closely on Haddon. Now, I know that Billy Brand fought Peyton Talbot and lost and had competitive moments, but he still lost to Peyton Talbot. Cody Haddon, I know he lost to Erceg, but Erceg is a, top 7 flyweight right now. Realistically, he was the uncrowned champ until Kai Kara-France snatched that belt from him in one big punch. So Haddon, the pick in this fight. Good matchup at bantamweight. Next fight on the card, we have Cam Rowston versus Torrez Finney. Torrez Finney is already a meme in the MMA community, and we need him to get into the UFC. So yes, I'm going to be picking Torrez Finney. It has to happen. In this picture, Cam Rowston kind of looks like an off-brand Max Holloway a little bit. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm saying. That's actually funny as hell. Now, as far as the stylistic clash, Finney is a freak specimen. We'll look at his physique in a second. He's awkwardly jacked. Like, he's got too much muscle on him. It's insane. He's a pressure fighter. He's physically strong. He's got some wrestling in the arsenal. You're better when you're that jacked. He's got big power in his hands. And I feel like even his win last year, he could have got a contract, but they decided to make him wait a year. He pulled it off against Panfarov last year, who was undefeated. And then Tyson Jeffries absolutely flattened him with an overhand punch early in the first round. That was devastating. Granted, Jeffries is an absolute can. But it's not like Rowston's fighting better competition. Rowston fought Payne Haraki, who is 3-6, and at the time they fought 39. That was like nearly 2 years ago. Then 3 years ago, he's taking on a debuting guy, 1-1 fighter. Listen, he trains with the city kickboxing crew, so that does, hype him up just a tad because there's good teammates over there. But not everybody from an elite gym is going to be elite in MMA. It's just not how things work. If not, every Killcliff FC fighter would be in the damn UFC. It's not a true thing. He's got a big height advantage at 6'2 versus 5'8, which we'll look at in just a moment. I like his stand-up game. He was actually supposed to compete last year against Chad Honeycomb. Then look at that. Dylan Budka ends up getting in the UFC. But he pulled out of that fight. I don't actually know the specific reason why. But either way, I don't see him beating Torrez Finney, especially Finney now getting more experience, a little more developed. And look at the physique for a second, okay? We're going to look. We got Torrez Finney, who is built like a fucking Mack truck. Already a meme, I'm telling you. And then he looks nothing like Max Holloway in actuality. He actually looks freakishly jacked like this. You would think like, oh, damn, Cam Rowston's got some gains on him. He got a little physique. And then you go side by side. It's like, wait, did he not eat for the past week? He looks anorexic. The height difference is crazy, though. Is that 5'8 to 6'2"? Is that really 5'8 to 6'2"? Is that 6 inches? I don't know about that. 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, 7 inch, 8 inch, 8.5 inches. Either Torrez Finney is 5'6", or Cam Rowston might be 6'4", because that don't look like 5'8 to 6'2". That picture is meme worthy, but it doesn't matter because the much shorter man is going to get this fight to the ground where he's going to be dominating and bullying Rowston. And on the feet, it's not like Finney's a can. And Rowston's not that good at maintaining distance, bro. He fought a 49-year-old last time. It took him 3 rounds to handle him. And how did he beat him? Getting the fight to the floor. And that dude was an absolute can. Torrez Finney's going to destroy him. Torrez Finney with ground and pound for the win. It's got to happen. That's got to happen. If that's not the lock on this Contender Series card, then I have no fucking clue. Contender Series is just insanity. I already know it's insanity, but it's like delirious insanity then. It's like a fucking rabid Contender Series. Minus 360 for Finney. Yes, he's a wide favorite. Plus 285 for Cam Rowston. Okay. Cam Rowston, big underdog. I wouldn't bet him. Over, under, forget about it. Inside distance, Torrez Finney. What's that? Minus 200. Damn. KO TKO plus 105. I lean Finney by KO TKO. How many submissions does he even have on the record? Just one submission win. And that was the Contender Series fight, right? Yeah. He's live for a sub, actually. What's the line? Plus 350. I will go inside distance, but minus 200 is kind of trash if you're just looking at like straight up bet. And I'm sorry for not zooming in the odds, man. Every Contender Series show, this is the new thing I've been doing. I don't zoom the odds in before we bring them down until the second or third fight up. Sorry. Yeah, Finney to get it done. He's a big favorite, but he's going to win. There's no possibility. He can't lose. Listen, Torrez, Finney, gang, stand up. I better see some W Finneys in the chat, bro, because we need a rep for the guy. He's got to get a contract, bro. He's a walking meme, and I need him in the UFC. And I like his style, too. So, yeah, Torrez, Finney for the W. Good dude, and I think he's getting a UFC contract. Out of that same gym, I'm pretty sure that Trevor Peak's at, too. So, look, they got savages out there. Finney's time for a contract now. City Kickboxing is going down. Next fight on the card, our featured bout, Cortavious Romious versus Michael Imperato. I'm going with Michael Imperato. Now, you guys might be saying, what? Because he's got the Italian last name? Yes, I'm purely going for him because of that. No, I'm actually going for Imperato because I think Cortavious Romious is kind of overrated. I get it. He's a big favorite here because, you know, he fought last season. Tavares knocked him out in a big shot. It don't matter. Let's look at the fight after. You can't find this fight on the internet. If you found it, please let me know. I didn't find it. Eric Vo, I don't need to watch it. He got an armbar against a 15-28 dude that had lost so many fights in a row. That's not even a fight, bro. That's a can crush. And then this win here against Nate Williams. He was taken down, and then he locked up the armbar from bottom. He's got okay wins. He's got a decent submission game. He submitted some, you know, cans, relatively speaking. What do we got? 5 wins by submission for Cortavious, all in the first round. Let me tell you something. He's not submitting Michael Imperato in the first round. Imperato's coming off of a big upset against Ricky Bandejas. Ricky Bandejas is good. He beat James Gallagher at one point. So that was a massive win. Now, I know he has a spotty record, so it might make you hesitant to want to bet him or pick him. But note that he's the bigger man in this fight. He's taller, even though Romious last time was fighting that damn lightweight. He was fighting a can. This loss here, this dude actually fought Guillermo from Ultimate Fighter, Ronaldo Rodriguez. So, like, the loss is not as bad as it looked. And personally, I didn't find that fight, but I don't need to. I saw this. This is what I need to see. Musa Tolliver, I know you're going to say, bro, Tolliver gave him a hard fight, and it looked like Tolliver should have won a decision. Tolliver was on a kitchen sink's worth of fucking steroids in that fight. I don't know what the cycle was, but he was so juiced up, you cannot tell me otherwise, bro. There's no drug testing on a lot of these regional scene cards. He was taking tons of steroids, and yeah, he was holding them down, doing absolutely nothing. Cortavious Romious isn't necessarily a guy that's going to hold you down. He's got slick submissions, but not the best wrestler. And you can see he got knocked out by a 10-8 guy. There's some cans in the mix. Michael Imperato is the real Rocky, bro. I'm not even lying to you. This is the realest version of a Rocky story to ever exist in MMA. Canadian guy, Italian. I think he's got some ability, man. I think he's got a decent game. He's physically very strong. He's got heavy hands. He's got good jiu-jitsu. Romious kind of comes out a little reckless and crazy, and I think he could get caught by something big. I don't know. I got a good feeling about this one. Listen, I called Oban Elliott over Preston Parsons when many told me no, and I'm calling Imperato over Cortavious Romious when many are probably going to say no. Let's see how many people picked him on Tapology. 13%. Hey, nobody picked him last time against Bandejas. Look what he did there. I'm saying he gets it done. How does he do it? I don't know. But he does it. Maybe a knockout, maybe a submission, maybe a decision. I think that Imperato might surprise. He could catch Romious for sure and then lock him up in a submission. Maybe that would be the call. But I wouldn't be shocked if it went distance. And something's telling me that 34, I know it's old for bantamweight, but he's getting a shot in the UFC. I see it. They're going to bring him in because he's the real-life Rocky. Look at Imperato. He doesn't even look like the same guy, bro. He drains himself out for this fucking weight cut. Holy shit. Imperato should have kept the hair on him. I think he looks like a freak. I guarantee you, though, he trained harder for this fight than any regional scene fight. Cortavious Romious, tell me he doesn't look like a can, bro. Tell me he doesn't look like a guy that's about to take an L on the Contender Series. I know everybody sees it. Look at him. Come on, look at the smirk. Come on now. And look at the intense face-off. Oh, yeah. I'm going with the cold-blooded killer, Michael Imperato, to find a way to win. I don't think Romious is that good. And I think Imperato's got that dog in him. And I'm going with Michael Imperato as an underdog. Look at the odds. Plus 270. Fuck it. Minus 345 for Romious. Give me Imperato to get an upset win. Let's see. The over 1.5 is plus money. Yeah, it's probably dangerous playing the over. Could go over, though. It could go over. It's not like Romious. I don't think Romious is going to finish Imperato. I think Imperato's probably going to finish him. But it could be early. Romious inside distance minus 210. Imperato inside distance plus 340. Imperato by submission is only plus 350, but a KO is all the way up at plus 2,000. I'm going with the underdog, Michael Imperato, to find a way to pull a W. I think he wins. Now I got to check that decision line, actually. I'm curious what it is. Decision win for Imperato is plus 900. He could. Wouldn't be crazy if he did. I don't know. I think he's kind of getting underestimated by the bookies. He looks in the best shape of his career. It's not like Romious is like some 26-year-old specimen. He's 30. He's 8-2. It's okay. I think he's beatable. And I think Michael Imperato is taking him out. Look at the recent opposition. Absolute fucking can win or absolute savage win. I'm going with Imperato for the real-life Rocky story, getting a UFC contract at nearly 35 in the bantamweight division, and I cannot wait to see this fight. Gonna be dope. Let's keep running. Co-main event of the evening, Rizvan Kuniev versus Hugo Cunha. You know, this one was a little bit tricky to pick because if you didn't know, Rizvan Kuniev tested positive for a shit ton of steroids after he beat Renan Ferreira, who's fighting Francis Ngannou now. So it's kind of crazy that Kuniev's on the damn Contender Series. But before I give the pick, I just want to tell you, he tested positive for not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 steroids, bro. He was taking a whole blend of anabolics, and that's why Kuniev was looking low-key kind of jacked when he fought against Renan Ferreira, and normally he looks fat. So Kuniev's going to be the pick here, but let me tell you something. You hop off those steroids, those testosterone levels dwindle. I don't know. A year and 4 months, honestly, is enough time for it to bounce back. So I think he'll be okay, and I will pick him to win. But listen, Cunha's no bum. He's the LFA heavyweight champ. And honestly, karma's a bitch. I hope Cunha somehow whoops his ass. I think Kuniev is going to be tough with that wrestling, bro. He's a Dagestan fighter. But Cunha could have moments. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's a second-degree black belt. I think it's easy to think Kuniev is a lock and throw things down. Like, put him in the parlay. Nah, fuck that. Better off betting Cunha for the memes. I would love to see Cunha win. As a fan, bro, Cunha getting it done is way better. Because Kuniev, he fucking tested positive for the steroids, man. Fuck that. That's dirty shit. So, I'm going with Kuniev, though. He'll probably be able to wrestle with him. He does have decent hands, too. He's a little sloppy at times. Good control. But he wasn't that impressive, though, on this fight with Rizvan Santos. And then he looked mad impressive against Ferreira. But Ferreira got on top of him at some point. Hugo might pull off the upset. Let me tell you something, man. Hugo, I got a weird feeling. I don't know. I'm almost ready to fucking flip to Hugo just for the legendary status of it. Let's look at the scales. Hugo looks fat as fuck, though. But he's strong. And Kuniev looks fucking horrible now. Kuniev looks really fucking bad. I mean, he kept the biceps at least. There's the side-by-side. Tell me that there's not a little special twing. I don't know if twing is even the word. There's a special twinkle on Cunha. You don't see it? Bro, I think he's got a chance, man. Fuck. This pick was hard. I won't lie to you guys. I knew coming in that I was going to have a hard time after we brought up the damn scales. Because initially, I was like, okay, Kuniev can get him. But then when you look at the physique melt in front of our eyes from how he looked prior, you know what? It's Dana White's Contender Series, and this is not the time to be a pussy. I think Cunha's got a chance, man. All right, let's look at the odds. I'm like giving you like half a pick. Half a pick on this one. Minus 700 for Kuniev. Bro, let me tell you my thought process. The better bet is just bet Cunha. If you want to throw 25 bucks at Cunha, right? Or you want to throw 100, good luck. If you throw 1,000, you're a savage. I think he's a good underdog bet. It's very hard to pick against Rizvan Kuniev. Even though the steroids came into play, he still has a fucking win over Renan Ferreira, which is a big win. But Cuna's a jiu-jitsu black belt, man. He's not like a fucking base black belt. He's a fucking second degree. Yeah, this fight's the hardest one for me to pick. I think we're going over 1.5. That's a confident call here, minus 244. Minus 244, over 1.5. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Cunha. It's Contender Series. I can do crazy shit. I know some of you guys want the immaculate memes. I don't know. I just think karma's a bitch for Kuniev, and he's not that good. Maybe Cunha can pull it off somehow. Fuck it. I'll flip in the moment. But I might regret it. I might regret it. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, this fight, you can hear from my tone, it's like, don't put Kuniev as your staple parlay because you can't make shit. Better off betting Cunha, but it's a straight D-gen bet, even though the odds to me should be 3-1, not 7-1. But I like the over 1.5. I think we'll go a little longer. Cunha gives me Jailton Almeida vibes. Cunha by sub plus 800. That'd be crazy. KO plus 1,300. Bro, if Cunha pulled this upset off, it would make my fucking summer, bro. Just as a fan, to witness the Dagestan wrestling go down, especially the steroid abuse, because I hate that shit. He tested positive for so many steroids, and he didn't look that good. Go back, if you can, if you got Fight Pass, watch the Rizvan Santos fight. And Rizvan Santos has a 12-2 record, but he's fucking trash. And he had moments with Kuniev. Kuniev looked really fucking good against Anthony Hamilton, who can't grapple for shit. And then he beat Renan Ferreira. And let's be honest, Renan Ferreira is not that good on the ground. Cunha as an underdog, I'm going with the silver back. I'm changing my mind. I originally actually wrote down Cunha, but I got nervous as I started. But I said, nah, we're going back on the savagery. Cunha for the W, okay? Represent. I'm going with Cunha for the win. Big upset incoming. And damn, this Contender Series might be a mad-ass night. This is going to be chaos, bro. All right, main event of the evening. If you guys are enjoying, make sure you smash the likes. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it up. We got Pytlik versus Andreas Gustafsson. I got to go with Andreas Gustafsson to win because he has that Dricus du Plessis thing. I almost said that Dustin Poirier thing. He's got that Dricus du Plessis thing. Even if it looks sloppy, it's effective. Even when he gets hit hard, he always comes back. Gustafsson doesn't break. He keeps pushing forward. The dude is as relentless as they come. Now, Pytlik, I don't know. His name is a damn tongue twister for me. I'm sorry, Pat. He's got good striking. He's got power. But to go out and say that he's a knockout pick against Gustafsson, who's got a solid chin. And yes, he's sloppy at times. And yes, he gets wild. But he also eats bombs, throws heat right back, and has really strong Greco-Roman wrestling to go along with everything. And you look at the opposition level for either of them as of recent, like it's not great here. Ryan Leninger is not near Gustafsson's level. He got knocked out in the first round by Pat, and he broke, bro. He looked horrible. Mike Hill, you remember him from The Ultimate Fighter? Was that season 16? Mike Hill, the Canadian? Holy shit. That's funny. And Mike Ritchie, the other Canadian, low-key hated him. That was actually funny as fuck. And then Jake Lindsay lost. Jake Lindsay's over in BKFC now. That was 5 years ago. He lost on the ground, though. Gustafsson could be live in the ground. All of Pat Pytlik's wins are knockouts. So note something. The dude is a dangerous striker. Gustafsson's never been knocked out. The loss you see here is against Jotun Luderback in a close fight. And Luderback's pretty solid. I mean, he's got, what, split decision to Clay Collard and good names over in PFL. That's not a bad loss to have. Win over Tommy Lampinen in a fight that you all need to watch. If you have Fight Pass, please watch this fight. It's one of the most badass fights of all time. And I'm telling you, this fight could be an absolute banger. I don't know if Pytlik's going to be able to take the damage, though. And then he destroyed Dominic Schober, who was a can. I'm going with Andreas Gustafsson because I just think he's built different. I think it's going to be a fight that requires both of them to dig mad deep. And I'm not questioning the heart on Pytlik either. But I think Gustafsson's a little more physically imposing, a little more powerful, and a little bit more ready to die in the cage. And I'm going with Gustafsson to get the win. Now, as far as the scales, Pat Pytlik, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. He's in shape. He's 35, but he's ready to go. He took some years off, though. That's crazy, right? Gustafsson looking jacked and shredded. He's ready for war. I wish he would have kept the beard, though. And then there's the face-off. Let me tell you right now, this might be the Contender Series fight of the season already. I got high expectations. Both these guys like to bang. Both these guys are dangerous. They both have knockout power and are in their mid-30s. So to get a UFC contract, they need to impress. I hope that one of them will. I'm excited for the fight. Let's look at the odds. Now, they're a little wide. Gustafsson is minus 270. Pylik is plus 210. A little too wide for my liking. I think Gustafsson deserves to be a favorite, though, because he can bring the violence. Over 1.5, minus 105. I call a maybe there. But the thing that's dangerous with it is it could end early with the way they fight. Gustafsson could put Pytlik out. Pytlik. I can't even say his name. I can say Gustafsson. I can say Nurmagomedov. I can do all the Dagestan names, but when you give me a Canadian, I start fumbling, man. Gustafsson inside distance, minus 135. It's live. What's Pytlik KO? Plus 375, but that'd be a fucking crazy feat. I'm going to say Gustafsson inside distance at minus 135. I think it happens. I think there is a finish here. I think it goes under 2.5. What's the under 2.5? Now I got to double check. Minus 300. I expect a great fight. This Contender Series card is going to be an absolute banger. I'm going with Andreas Gustafsson to win the main event in a madness battle. Like I'm telling you, go watch this fight with Tony Lampinen and him. It's amazing. Both guys are good here. Pytlik taking the years off is a little bit of a worry too. And I just think he doesn't have the physicality really to deal with Andreas Gustafsson, who always has the Greco-Roman wrestling in the back pocket, even if he does prefer to strike and engage in violent fights. So Gustafsson, the pick in the main event. Those are my picks for this week's Dana White's Contender Series card. If you're looking to parlay things up, we have to be intelligent, okay? We need to be smart. You can't be an idiot this week. Torrez Finney, I think, gets a W. And I think this fight here going over a round and a half is relatively live at minus 144. Those two together with this fight ending inside of the distance, I think is pretty live as well. I think of it like this. Imperato would be a D-Gen add-on if you're looking to really bring the plus money. And Brandon Haddon, I'm going to pick Haddon here, but ultimately, not a fabulous bet. I think you maybe could parlay him in like an extension, but I don't know. I feel better about Torrez Finney. I think that the over in this fight, I think that Gustafsson inside distance or the fight ending inside distance. I do like Gustafsson's chances because of the durability. Then, you got a D-Gen Imperato underdog call. The Contender Series is the craziest betting because the fights don't necessarily line up perfectly with the odds because anything can happen with these savages. And I'm not lying to you. As a fan, I'm really hoping Cunha wins. Not even that he's a 5-1 dog because Kuniev needs to be punished for the steroid abuse. Karma, do your thing. Do your thing, Karma. Hopefully it's real. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed this week's Contender Series breakdown. Let me know what you thought of the picks in the comments, and I want to hear your picks too. Drop some of your favorite parlays. I think this card is kind of all over the place, so I'm curious what the people are parlaying up. Savage little parlay, what are we doing? Let me know, chat. Let me know. I appreciate you all for watching. Smash the likes on your way out, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hope you guys have been enjoying these Contender Series breakdowns because I won't lie to you. They are super fun to make, so definitely show the love and support by smashing the likes. And if you have nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, you want to support me, W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on The Fight Companion. Peace out.